All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Discovering Grayslake. I am here recording at Agora again. Luke is so kind to let us use everything down here, so a shout out to Agora. Agora is a co-working space on the corner of Center Street and Atkinson, so if you're looking for a place for an office for a day, for a month, or just a lifetime home for your business, it's a great place to be, so shout out to Agora for having us here. So today I am and have the pleasure to be with four gentlemen here who just won the we're calling it summer nights.
Summer nights.
Summer nights.
Thursday summer nights.
Yeah, which is basically a battle of the bands, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, how about we just go around from my left to my right, introduce yourselves, and then we'll jump right in.
I'm Josh. I play bass in Steady Ahead.
I'm Eric. I play guitar and I sing.
I'm TJ. I also play guitar and I also sing.
And I'm Kasen, and I play drums and do percussion.
All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for being here. I appreciate it. First, so how do you Battle of the Bands? I know there's one stage on one end of Center Street, and then there's a stage on the other. You guys were on I believe the Vine sponsored your stage,
Yeah.
Yes.
or Nano sponsored the other one. So how do you, first of all, get to participate in that?
So what happened was I'm big friends with Greg Henkin,
Oh, yes.
and he texted me one day saying, "Hey, you guys interested in doing Battle of the Bands?" And I was like, "Sure." And so he hooked me up with Mike Pruitt, and within a half hour we were on the bill, and we were just about word of mouth, getting a recommendation from Greg, and then being able to play. It was awesome.
It was definitely nice, how kind of quick it kind of just became. It's like, oh, do this. All right, now we're on it. Let's go.
Not a whole lot of time to prepare for that. We
No.
want to do this. Yeah, you're in.
I think we had 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Really?
I think we had 3 weeks. We
Yeah.
found out about 3 weeks before, so we put together a half-hour set that we were playing a set that we were going to play. We have another show coming up. So we had an hour-long set. We cut that in half and shoved it into a half hour of just trying to play catchy songs only and a couple covers.
Right.
Yeah.
And I unfortunately wasn't able to attend, but the crowd was pretty good that night, right?
Yeah.
I was actually really surprised.
Yeah, it was insane.
I would like to think so. At least for us.
Yeah.
So you guys would play once, and then the other stage would play, and then
Yeah,
band
it was
gets
actually
set.
definitely a really cool setup where you've got while one stage is doing a changeover, the other show's playing, and then it's up to the crowd to walk between.
Yeah, so if you really wanted to, you could see every band by walking down to the Vine and then walking all the way down by Twisted Burger.
Yeah.
That's where it was a little bit further down than that, but I think it was close to Twisted Burger.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was basically you set up, play, other bands setting up while you're playing,
Right.
then they play, and then we're breaking down and the other next band's setting up.
Sounds organized. I like that.
It was cool.
I like when things work like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason that we're here today, because I know that everybody here is from the area, but you guys are from Grayslake. Did you go?
Grayslake Central
Yeah,
graduates.
Grayslake Central, yep.
Grayslake Central graduate.
Yeah.
Do I dare ask what year to make me feel really fucking old?
2014.
2014. we feel old, man. We're a little we're at the point where it's like we got maybe one more year of doing a Battle of the Bands.
Yeah.
And then it's weird.
Yeah, exactly. Then
when you're 28, 29, it's like it's still fine. But
20s.
20s. But as soon as we're 30, we got to be out.
No more Battle of the Bands. That's for the younger folks.
Okay, so but after you win it, do you get invited back?
I don't know.
No idea.
Like
I guess
reigning
we'll idea.
champs?
I guess we'll find out next year.
Yeah, we'll find out next year. I honestly kind of hope we just go out like this.
Go with a bang.
We have-
One and done.
One and done. We
Yeah.
got our name on the banner.
Bat in the thousand.
Yeah, we lifted the banner up. Now we're good.
In and out.
Okay, so with winning that, then there's a cash prize, $1,000.
Yeah,
Yep.
$1,000.
Yep.
Okay, so you win $1,000, and then also you get to play at
Grayslake Summerfest.
Summerfest,
Grayslake
formerly known as Grayslake
Summer Days.
Summer Days.
Yep.
Yes. And to everybody listening, I hope that you're thoroughly as confused as I am. It's just, we had to make sure we know.
We did a lot of research before we got to make sure we had the name right.
Right, exactly. I still don't know. Okay, so then you guys will be playing as the show airs. We're recording, obviously, because these things are out forever. We are recording in July, at the end of July, with this coming up at the time of recording in 2 weeks. So you guys will be playing on it's Friday,
Yep.
August 16th at 7 p.m. at Grayslake Summerfest.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So everybody get your ass out there to see these guys. Steady ahead.
Steady ahead. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So let's go back to that. We were talking about a little bit about that you grew up playing at the Oasis, which we talk about what a great venue for people in Grayslake to play, for young artists or somebody to do something. So give me a little story about growing up and doing shows at the Oasis.
Well, we met TJ and Kasen so Josh and I met TJ and Kasen through the Oasis, basically. We were in a band with one of our buddies through high school. It was a metal band. We sucked. Doesn't matter.
They were pretty good. It was a fun show.
But he worked with our guitar player. And so they all found out they're in the same band. They were a band. They were in bands and everything. So we ended up playing just tons of shows with these two. And at some point, we just decided, like, hey, maybe we should just start being at one whole group instead of two separate.
What year are we talking there?
We're talking. We met in 2013.
Yeah.
2013.
2013, something like that.
Let's see.
12 years ago, something like that.
So before you graduated high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Metal Band was pretty much all throughout high school and probably about a year after with me and Eric here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and then after that, the Metal Band at least kind of tailed off. And I know then Eric said he's like, I'm kind of done with this one. So and I think that was probably about 2014. And I think that's when Eric and Kasen went to go start trying to various different names and suits and hell they eventually
Different
settled on
members.
this.
Yeah, that's. I feel like the Killing Beautiful and Tutor
He's
Fest
name-dropping.
of our early musical careers kind of ran its course. Right after high school, a lot of people going off to college, and we were here.
So I got stuck with you
And,
guys.
but, Eric and I still wanted to keep playing music because, obviously if you're doing it for this long, it's a passion.
Yeah.
And I don't want to think of it as a crutch or anything, but I definitely got met up with some really good guys, and Eric and Josh, and then later reunited with TJ. So things just kind of worked out, and, Steadyahead is, 10, 12 years strong now?
Basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
Going
10
steady
years.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yes,
About 10
is.
years.
Yeah, for a
It's,
long time.
it's about 10.
It's
It's about 10.
It'll be 10 next year because we started 2015.
Yeah,
Don't say that, that
our
means it's gonna
smaller
take 10
little
years.
projects
Yeah, no, we
that
got
we were doing.
we got the anniversary tour.
I think that was about a 2-year course between 2015 and 2016, 2017 before we actually decided to start Steadyahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
think
still.
in its infancy, it was like 2015, and then we were going through stuff, and then
Yeah.
eventually.
There's still pieces of songs like in our music now that from the original demos, like on the first record. We still, There's still pieces of a song in there from our first demos.
That's cool.
But Oasis shows, man, we have so many. I've played
how many
probably
times?
50 of them. I mean,
Really?
we started. Josh and I were in a metal band. We used to just play. There was 2 places to play in town. There was the Oasis and there was Swing State. And when you're 16 and you can't play in the city,
Right.
you can't go to Wisconsin, you can't do any of that.
Yeah.
You play those 2 venues to nauseum.
Yeah.
So it was every other week we were playing Oasis or Swing State.
I don't know what Swing State is.
It was a hookah bar where that Nissan dealership is on
Yeah.
132 and 45.
45,
It's a
yeah.
parking lot now.
Yeah, it's a parking lot for a Nissan dealership.
I mean, you could probably still smoke hookah there if you really wanted to, but it might be frowned upon now.
But yeah,
Basically, you guys are so good that you shut both places down.
Yeah, we'll go with the 2 good part. Yeah,
I'm sure when both those buildings got demoed, I'm sure there's Steadyahead stickers in the rubble sign.
yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about the name Steadyahead, because the naming bands is great, because it's like naming nail polishes or candle
Yeah.
scents, right? You can
big
do
deal.
whatever you want to do.
So
and
we-
it sticks with you.
We went through a ton of names. We went through. And
Give me the worst one.
Well, we're big nerds.
Probably
All 4
the-
of us were video game guys.
All right.
And there's a game called League of Legends that
Don't play it.
That Kasen and TJ were really into, and there was a move that a character used. It was called Cull the Meek, which just kind of means kill the weak or destroy the weak. We did that when we were a metal band, because I grew up playing a ton of metal, and that was scrapped. We did the mid laners for a while, 'cause
Also the same game theme.
yeah. And then one day we were still trying to figure it out, and at the time we were all kind of working. We were working, a crappy pizza job, and Kasen was like, "Oh, how about like how about steady head? Like, keep your head up, all that stuff. And I was like, that kind of sounds like we're fishing for some like. It sounds like we're fishing for some stuff. Maybe we shouldn't do that. So I put the A in front of it because I liked the way it sounded. But we did steady ahead. It means nothing. It's just kind of evolved to what it means now. It's just the vibe of the music and the vibe of the lyrics and the content. It's just, we just kind of try to move forward.
Just keep it going.
Yeah.
And as musicians and any artist of any sort, you have to stay steady ahead, and you can't get, one failure of something you can't give up. You have to stay steady ahead the entire time, which is kind of cool. For people that don't know about the Oasis, like I know people understand the concept of the Oasis, even from what you guys have just said. Kind of tell me about like what the vibe was there, because like you're a high school kid, like
it was awesome.
It
was just it was just really just chill place just for basically youth to come out, just enjoy, kind of be kind of away from prying eyes of adults. You're kind of just there hanging out with whatever they got there, and then kind of just wait for be able to check out your friends who are in bands. We've had even that's how you meet so many people who aren't even necessarily from Grayslake. I knew people from Gurney, hence Kasen and TJ were coming out. So it's just a really good meetup point just to kind of be around a bunch of kids of your own might not know, and just make friendships that way.
Right, and a shout out to Joyce Campbell right now, because Joyce is
most definitely.
Gosh,
Yeah.
So
Joyce.
Did you all know Joyce?
She was my insurance agent before she retired. She was awesome.
That's great. Yeah, because to have a place like that, obviously, if you didn't have something like that, you may not be still doing what you are, because there'd be nowhere to play in front of people.
Exactly.
I wanted to add, like, with just growing up and playing the Oasis, there is so much to be said for nowadays younger bands. I feel bad for them, man. They don't have anywhere to play.
Yeah.
We were so fortunate growing up. I lived 2 blocks from the Oasis. I could walk there.
Nice.
And I would walk there, go to the Freeze, grab a smoothie, walk in the Oasis, pay $5, and see live music all night.
That's great.
And you could do that every Friday and Saturday. And they let us, we played there, like I said, we played there so many times. We sucked so bad. When we were so bad. But they would just let you play. They didn't care if you were good. They didn't care about draw. They didn't care about any of that. There was no money involved. It was just get here, get experience.
Exactly,
and we wouldn't be as tight.
It's invaluable.
Yeah.
It's the contribution of that, of being able to just play. It gets you used to being in front of crowds, putting yourself out there. Whereas, now you probably have a lot of people who are even starting just too nervous to get up on stage because it's all, either a bigger event they're not ready for, or
unfortunately they have to draw 25, 40 people every event you play. Every time we try to get a show, the first reply email is, well, what's your draw in this area? And it's like, well, okay, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell because it's so hard, and there's not like it used to be. There's not a whole lot of venues right now with live music.
Yeah.
As there
And
used
if
to be,
if it is, they're having cover bands come in, and so it's not really any really good spot for original music. So it's all just come in, play covers for 4 hours, and then off you go. So
So what do bands do now that they can't get in front of people? What do you just record your stuff and put it on YouTube and hope people watch it?
I think
Pretty
I
much,
would.
Most
yes.
definitely.
Or we've played a couple DIY shows.
Yeah.
That were cool, like some basement shows.
Yeah.
But those don't do anything for you if you want to do anything. If you want people to hear what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just kind of your friends coming to a party.
Right. And speaking of that, so every guest that we have come on, I ask him for a couple notes of things. So it reminded me of something that you wrote me about. One of the worst shows.
Yeah.
And I think there's a twice behind it.
So we did the same thing twice.
Yes, and also.
I thought you're only supposed to do it once.
No, we did it twice.
Yeah, and also we actually call back to the Oasis. We actually met the band who invited us to the show through the Oasis.
Okay.
Just getting all the
The
networking
Oasis
in,
was
and,
big for making connections.
Oh yeah, with other bands and getting just the whole.
You didn't only have to go in there for listening to music. It was a very welcoming environment.
Yeah,
It was the vibe,
You
kinda.
walk in. There's a popcorn machine to your
Yeah.
left.
Yeah,
There's
like a little
video
diner
games
area.
to your right. Seating everywhere. Pool tables. You could just walk in not for the music and then immediately be introduced to it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily a music venue as much as it was the youth center, but it gave a lot of kids the opportunity to, be introduced to music without actually having to go out and, pay for a show or, go to somewhere where it was, not an 18 plus event, and it was very good for kids, especially in the Grayslake area, and to have a first introduction to playing music or listening to music. So R.I.P. the Oasis.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Exactly, a true community center, however you'd like to call
We
it.
can go into the worst show. So,
Yes.
so this is pre-TJ. So this is Josh, me, and Kasen. We were a 3-piece band at the time. This is like 2017 or 16.
Yeah.
It's 2017, I think. And we met this band at the Oasis. They're like, oh, we really like what you guys sound like. You got this vibe that we think would fit well. We're playing a show in Sheboygan. And we're like, dude, Sheboygan? Where the hell is Sheboygan?
I was about to say, where is it?
And we looked it up, and it's like an hour 45 from where Josh and I are living at the time. And we're like, we're not taking 2 cars. Screw that. That sucks. So he had this boat. We called it the boat. Just like this big, fat Buick. What was it?
It was 2002 Buick Park Avenue Ultra.
Yeah, it was like
The
what?
Ultra.
Yeah.
It was a boat.
Yeah.
It had so much space.
We loaded Kasen's drum kit into there.
A full drum
kit.
kit.
Full kit.
Not
It was
broken
a
down.
6 or 7 piece set.
Yeah.
And then
Full
my
drum
full, I always travel with a full cab and a head. I don't do the tiny digital amps. I do tube heads.
Yeah.
And big speaker cabs. Plus a bass rig.
Yep.
And we drive this thing in his car up to Sheboygan.
And the best thing was the
three
front
people
seat.
in that car.
And all 3 of us in the
Because
car.
the front seat had basically had the it had the middle center console, but you could flip it up to make it into a bench seat.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, one of them was riding the hump on they had to switch off. But
Who's riding bitch on the way there? Right?
Well, we drove an hour 45 to get there, and it's a house party. We just had an address. We didn't know it was a basement show.
Okay.
We show up. It's a house party. It's a basement show. We load into this guy's rickety-ass stairs, and we go into a room that, I swear to you, is barely bigger than what we're sitting in right now.
Oh, my God.
And so this room, for
Probably
the
one
listeners,
and a half.
this is probably like, what is it, like an 8x8?
It looks like it's 8x8, yeah.
This is
Yeah.
an 8x8, so we're probably in like a 10x10,
Yeah.
12x12, not very big. And they jammed like 35 people for our set. And the second we go on stage, because we opened the show, which is hilarious. There was no stage; it was just floor. But we go on the floor to play.
basically the line was the monitors that point
Yeah,
back at you, and that was it.
we go up to play our set, and immediately we're baked, like so hot. It's so hot down there. We played the show shirtless.
Yep.
Just no sound, can't hear anything. I can't hear my guitar, I can't hear the bass. We can only hear drums because nothing's mic'd. And it was just sloppy and crappy, but it was fun. It's what you got to do, and people liked us, and we got Spotify follows that way. And,
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But then we did it again.
yeah, we got invited again.
And we did it again. And we did
Same car,
the
same
exact
trip.
same
the exact
situation.
same thing. Yeah.
Because that's what you got to do. Like that's
Right.
when we were.
We're
trying
not renting a van. We're gonna we'll make it work.
At the time we're 19.
yeah.
Right.
19 or 20. We're kids at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just trying to. At the time, it was more like, oh, maybe this will be something that'll blossom to something, and then I don't have to be in construction or whatever. But 8 years later, we're still just playing, and it's fun. It's no longer doing that. But when it felt like almost like a tour, like a mini tour, driving an hour 45 and doing that. But I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, we played it. It was so hot, and we played it in the winter time. The second time,
and the
then,
second time, Kasen broke his arm.
second time, Kasen broke his arm.
Oh, he was there.
Well, you would
In the
think
pit.
the first time that we played that, and we ended up with busted noses and busted lips and bruises and scratches
At the show.
At the
At the show, yes.
It
think
sounds
after
like
the
you're on the
first
other
time.
side of the band.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we're sitting there for the other, other bands too, hanging out in there, and the guys that invited us, and they're all metal bands, so you're throwing, you're moshing a little bit, so things happen.
yeah. Kasen broke his arm with the second one. Josh
Took an elbow to the face.
took an elbow to the face. There's actually a really great picture on Instagram on my Instagram with me and Josh standing outside that show, and I'm shirtless. Smoking, and Josh is sitting there looking so pissed off.
Yeah, just my lip just bleeding all down my face, and
It's gotta be an album cover one day. Man.
yeah. And then
Absolutely.
Kasen just looks all spaced
we
out.
still have that photo.
Yeah.
So.
That's fantastic. You know what? But you do whatever you have to do, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, we love what we do.
Exactly,
We really
and
do.
the thing, it was still a great time. So like even then, it's still fantastic to do it. So
It's great to talk about.
It's fun
too.
memories. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
If
So
we
you-
didn't do it, we wouldn't be on a podcast
Exactly.
talking about it.
Right. So when you said that, you said that people that you're hoping to get more Spotify listens. So at what point do you first, or kind of get put in the cart above? Whatever I'm saying in the
Cart in
morning.
front of the horse.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Nice one, TJ. Good job.
You can see
Work
I'm
on
very,
it.
very shy over here. So when do you record an album to get it on Spotify? Was that hard to do to get your music on Spotify?
Well, we got hit pretty hard by COVID.
Yep.
Everyone did, but music got killed. Like local music got demolished. We were recording our first record when COVID was at its height. We had just finished recording it, and Greg was mixing it. Greg Hankin mixes all my records, and we recorded at his house and everything. After we sat on it for like a year, and we kind of just shadow dropped it because we couldn't play live.
Right.
So, trying to get more listens, it's more just trying to, I for a while I was paying for advertisement on Facebook, and that sucks. It doesn't do anything.
It's worthless.
We've seen a spike recently, but we've been playing a lot more the last year. We went from, single digits to almost triple digits now,
Good.
which is cool. But yeah, just trying to get more listens is basically we make like cards that have QR codes in the back. We try to give them out at shows, people to scan, and then they can follow our music and everything like that.
Yeah, I know what it's like to try to get listens.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kinda
exactly.
hard. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And the only way to do it, especially as a band, if you're not out there, you just can't put out an album and put it on Spotify and hope people listen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why we sat on it for a year, because we were hoping to find some way to support it to actually get it announced out. But it was just everything was
Gone.
there's no
Everything
no
was
shows,
in question. During that time, nobody knew what was going to happen.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, in our lifetime, nothing like that has ever happened.
Yeah.
So
No.
it was
we
a weird
always
situation.
we always say we're not supposed to say the C word on here, but
Yeah.
you guys already dropped the
Oh,
COVID,
sorry.
COVID bomb on us. No,
Nice job, Eric.
But it's funny how it has shaped everything in the way that you do things, and the way you play live music. And at that time, everybody wanted to see live music.
Yeah.
And I think after people were able to go out and get
Starving
out,
for it.
that then they wanted to see bands in person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So after that, so I want to jump back to Greg Hankin, because I love Greg. I respect him. I think he's fantastic. He sounds like he's been an integral part in what you guys have done.
for sure.
So how do you meet Greg?
When I was like 13, I wanted to start playing music, and one of my friends went to him, and so I got a referral to go to Greg
For lessons.
for lessons,
Yes.
for bass lessons actually, even though I'm a guitar player now. But
Nice.
I wanted to start playing bass, so I started playing bass. We did like basic stuff like Nirvana and stuff like that, and I don't know. It's just kind of I transitioned to guitar and took it for years through high school. Then I took a break, and then what ended up happening is I kind of just went to Greg one day and I was like, "Hey man, I want to know how to write songs. Like I feel like I can get better at writing music and writing songs." And Greg was like, "Okay, well here's what we're gonna do." And he just had this whole lesson plan to help me learn how to write and to find my own voice and to find what I want to do. He was saying like, take, your favorite bands and analyze those songs. He would have me sit there with a notebook and listen to music like with earbuds in, and I would stop things after parts and write what happened in that part, what changed from verse 1 to verse 2. How is this chorus different from the last chorus, if it is at all, or is the melody different? What are the harmonies like? And I have notebooks at home still full
Wow.
of these. I forgot what he called them, but they were basically just songwriting exercises, and that kind of helped me find like, how do they do it? How does this happen? You can't just pick 4 chords and go.
Right.
You can, but it's not always the best. And so he just really, really just invested so much time, probably more than he should have, into what I wanted to do. And I talk to him every day. He's like my older brother. That's just how it is.
He's a great guy, and anybody
Yeah,
that
he
doesn't
is.
know Greg, make sure, because we did a podcast with Greg, and I really enjoyed sitting down with him to find like how much passion he has. But he just he's like one of the totally genuine guy that actually really loves what he's doing. And
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
and he must have been super proud to watch you guys go on stage. And
He recorded our reaction, which is
Did he?
Yeah.
That's great.
yeah.
That's cool.
I can't say enough good things about him. If free plug for Greg's guitar lessons. If you're looking for
for
music
sure.
lessons or anything, you got to go to him. It's the only recommendation I have for music. He's phenomenal. His studio, also for recording, is insane.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Absolutely insane.
only
Also, I
use-
think he just finished updating it. I think he's finally done.
For
Yeah.
LP3.
But yeah, I mean, even now, I mean, we have a band group chat with Greg in it.
Yep.
So all that. So and then I think it's just me and him, but we also are in his NFL group chat. I think.
Yeah.
Nice. So Greg helped you guys get your first. Hey, how many albums do you guys
We have
out?
2 records.
2 records that are out.
Mm-hmm.
I like that you call them records. I feel like it. So there's 2 that are out. First one was recorded when?
2019 through the very early part of 2020. It
Okay.
came out in 2021.
All right, and the name of that is?
That is Aphasia.
Aphasia. Okay, so if I'm going on there to listen, what can I expect? Because it sounds like you guys used to like metal bands. So now the influences that came through this album doesn't sound like it's metal.
What I tell people is if you're looking for 90s alternative grunge, like Smashing Pumpkins meets Weezer meets a little bit of Nirvana, welcome home. That's where we are.
Nice.
That's what we do.
Nice.
We do our first record's a little more Weezery, a little happier with the sad melody. Our second record's a lot more, a little darker, a little more Nirvana, a little more, just heavier.
Right. What is the name of the second record?
Moment.
Moment. All right. So how many tracks on the first one?
8,
8. And then how many on the second one?
7.
How many did you have that you didn't record?
I think because
I know
we,
the
yeah,
answer.
I think we
That's a
did,
really
we
good
recorded,
question.
The first one, I think we recorded 2 more and then just didn't put him on there. And then this last one, I think it's what, 3?
Yeah. I feel
recorded.
really strongly about the under the commute runtime.
Okay.
So I feel very strongly that, especially when you're a local band, be under 25, under 30.
Okay.
Because then people are driving to work, the average commute's like 25 to 30 minutes.
Right.
You can listen to the whole record.
Right.
You listen there and back.
And then also that way you don't start sounding long-winded when we're a band that you don't really know. You kind of work up to an hour long, that kind of thing. But
We made some sad cuts on the
Yeah.
second record.
Yeah.
Some sad ones?
We made some cuts that I was like, man, I really like this song. And
Okay.
we cut it because the 7 that we have are just so much.
yeah, just
Better.
that much better than that one. So it's
it happens
kind of
all
lost
the
its
time.
place. But
It's
How
really
many I
good
wrote
for our
for 'em is
wallet
crazy. Yeah.
that you're so good at cutting our songs.
I was gonna say, how many songs I write for the records is a little bit different than how many we record too. Because I usually write about 15 to 20,
Okay.
and then we usually go with 7 to 10.
Okay, so who decides that? You guys all sit
It's
down
a
and be
group.
like,
Yeah.
we love this.
Yeah,
And
yeah, pretty
probably
much
the
we
ones
kind
that are
of-
on the edge is kind of hard. how
yeah,
they
so
put on
usually
there.
Eric will come to us with an idea. So he's usually recording most of it like on his home computer to get he has his idea out, and we kind of then brings it to practice. We all kind of learn it and then play it, see what we want to do with it, kind of start doing our own stuff with it, and then whether or not it kind of keeps lasting until we get to recording time or not is kind of usually what winds up being on there. Sometimes we don't really vibe with it all that much. We're like, it's fine, but he then shows us another one. We're like, oh no, okay, no, that's the one we like. So we kind of just forget about that other one, and usually kind of how it tends to go.
That's another thing to talk about, Eric, is how your interactions with Greg have changed over the years and affected the band.
Oh, yeah, I
just
could
with
tell
the
you. He's the
singing
second songwriter.
songwriting
Yeah.
process and how you've completely changed. Coming to the band with ideas. Before it was a chord progression or a melody, and now we have full demos.
Yeah.
So Greg told me a long time ago. He helped me buy a Mac computer, like a desktop Mac, and linked me a couple interfaces, stuff like just basic setup. And he was like, "You need to start demoing, not coming to practice with chords and a melody. Come with full demos, like guitars relatively done, some sort of drum beat, and some bass ideas and melodies." And so I started doing that, and it's evolved from. I used to just kind of show up with like guitar recordings and be like, "What do you guys think?" And now I send out Dropbox links of full songs put together. I'll sit there and I'll program the drums, or I'll use the auto drummer on Logic and adjust things. I usually run 2 tracks of bass. I usually do a lead guitar lick, guitars, and then I'll do vocals. And I write the melodies in everything like that. And usually we have full songs for us to at least listen to and see if we like the idea. and then we'll go back and we'll fine tooth comb it. You know, if this chord doesn't work here, we scrap it, move something else here. If this verse sucks, we'll change it or whatever.
So that's something that Greg helped you with. You guys
Yeah,
weren't doing
yeah.
before.
What I do a lot with Greg nowadays is I'll send him that same demo, and he'll tell me if it's bad or not. And
It's
what
a good relationship to have when somebody
Well,
can tell you,
exactly,
yeah, that
well-
pretty much sucks, guys.
I value his opinion so much, man. Like I know it kind of sounds like I'm just gushing over him, but I genuinely, he's the guy I talk to for this stuff. I'll send him a demo and he'll hit me back, and he's brutally honest, and that's what I want. I don't want I spent years being like, oh yeah, you know, your performance was so good, and like I was terrible when I was like 15. Like, we all were. But that's my interactions with him a lot. Is he helped me basically write the songs, and in the studio he'll help us change stuff. He'll play some licks. He'll play some solos for us. Like, he's a one-stop shop.
Yeah, yeah. And
for
the good thing,
songwriting.
and the good thing is too, with him kind of helping that, it actually helps just like make the best use of our time. So instead of trying to write a song at practice, we're instead just refining an idea, and that works when we've got practice about 3 hours weekly, but we've all got full-time jobs. Sometimes things fall through the cracks. So now it's just we get there, get our stuff done, work it out, see what we like, and it's a way better use of time instead of starting from scratch every time with a new song. So
Yeah, because
The streamlining is important.
Yeah.
Especially when we have somebody coming from an hour or an hour
Yeah.
15, hour 30 away.
is that how long you have to drive?
Yeah,
yeah,
I live
he's in the city.
Chicago, so and then where I work is an hour away too. So every time it's an hour to get down to Zion, and then an hour, like 10 minutes back home.
Right.
So it's
So it makes your time valuable that when
It
you go, you
definitely-
have to
exactly,
do everything.
definitely.
Which is hopefully you like the way we do it.
Yeah.
It's definitely
Yeah.
like the way we do it. It's
It's definitely just so we can just
very efficient.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it
Most
took
efficient
a-
way of doing it.
It took a while to finally add you to the crew.
Yeah.
I was trying to steal you away for years.
Yeah, no, remember a while ago there was a time that I did try to play with you
At
guys.
my dad's house, yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't know, I can't even remember why it didn't really work out at that point in time.
So you were playing with another band, and then you hooked up with these guys.
Yeah, I was playing with another band, and then that band kind of fell through, and then I think I tried to play with these guys, and I don't remember how many years ago it was.
It had to have been early-ish.
It was a lot earlier on, and then it didn't really work out. And then I went on to go and play with another band, I think.
Yeah.
And then that fell through, and then I was bandless for a while. And then
Unrestricted free agent.
we went on a camping trip.
Yep.
Yeah.
And,
That was it.
And that was it. Eric and I learned that we have a very similar taste in music.
Mhm.
And I've always been friends with Kasen. Josh, I hadn't really met at that point, but
Yeah, it's been like in passing. Like I probably met you through online gaming for the most part. I
oh
think.
yeah,
And
true,
that's
true,
really
true.
about
I do
it.
remember that.
And then
that.
other than that, yeah, not really.
And then the rest is just kind of Eric asked me to join, and it's been great ever since.
Oh, and it sounds like the things that you see that really good bands do is that they mesh together, whether you're playing live, whether you're recording, that you almost anticipate what the next guy's going to do.
Yeah.
And it
That's
takes a
huge.
special kind of chemistry, so to say, in that. It seems like you guys obviously have it. Even just sitting here talking to you guys, you can tell.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like the chemistry is definitely strong with.
4 best friends.
Yep,
That's one of
absolutely,
those-
absolutely.
I was going to ask which one of you guys is the asshole in the band.
It might be me. I'm okay with it being me.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that it is, but I'm also not gonna refute what you're saying.
I'm in all seriousness, I'm just so in. That's just I'm so in on like making sure our songs are good. That's all I care about. I want to write good songs.
Well, and I'm sure that there has to be something when you have 4 individuals working on any kind of project that means the world to all of you. You're not always going to agree,
Yeah.
but you always find a happy
keep
ground
it
of
very
Yeah,
democratic.
absolutely.
We
Yeah.
actually we're like so democratic. Like,
Yeah.
if the vote is split, we're like, okay, we gotta talk about it. Or if I'm outvoted, then we drop it and they won. That's fine. It doesn't
Right.
matter. We try to move on. We try to be very adult about it. We've also been together for so long.
Yeah.
We've been friends for so long that it's just kind of. It's almost like arguing with your brothers if something goes wrong, but you always are gonna love and respect each other no matter what happens.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's cool to see the other things happening like this too. So the nice thing that we talked about, like getting listens on Spotify and getting in front of people. I can imagine you guys, especially being from the area, being from Grayslake, standing on stage and watching. I think Pruitt said that there was almost 2,000 people there.
Yeah. It was
But,
insane.
but to be up there and play and look over like your community and had to
was
be a little bit of pressure.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty
Oh,
cool.
absolutely.
Right?
It was special, man.
It was
well,
definitely
especially too, like
very-
again, when you're kid, you're kind of hoping to play one of these Grayslake Fests, back in when you're in high school, you're like, okay, let's eventually get to there. So it's kind of like a good round circle moment. Be like,
circle
okay,
moment.
fine.
Everybody
it only took
wants to
13
win.
years.
Yeah.
Everybody
But-
wants to play and win the battle of the bands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a very I don't want to dream come true kind of feeling. Like, holy crap, we.
It's great.
What,
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
what was
I was-
awesome was we opened with a cover song, and I saw people walking towards something, and we opened up with the cover song. It was Santeria. We made it grungy, and people turned around and walked towards us, and we held a crowd for 30 minutes. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was seeing people we didn't even know come and vote for us. We're playing and you see people come up to the ballot box throwing in ballots. And okay, that's awesome because they had the ballot box right in front of the stage. So.
Oh, there's no pressure with that.
Yeah.
No.
And I walk up to you, look at you, turn around, walk away. Just kidding. Go into the other side.
I don't
was
know.
cool. I mean-
I don't know if you guys noticed, but even when we played our sound check, a little 30 seconds, we had nobody, and then people were turning around at that point, and then we sat there for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was
And
definitely.
they-
Yeah, I definitely
and they
noticed that
sat
once I
there for
finished
5
tuning,
minutes.
Yeah, it was
there was
cool.
more people than I had thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think that especially with Summerfest / Grayslake Days or whatever you want to call them coming up, I encourage everybody to come out because I don't know about a lot of people, but a lot of people come out. They come out to drink beer and be a part of the community
Yeah.
and listening
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
music. So I'm encouraging everybody listening and to tell your friends to come out and see local bands and local music. I mean, you're there drinking beer anyway. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll be drinking the beer as well. So.
Exactly. And can they bring you beer? Is that allowed?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah.
I would imagine so.
I had a beer on stage when we were playing.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to make the executive decision now that yes, you can.
Well, thank you.
And I will start it, and I'll bring you all one to start it
There
off.
we go.
Awesome.
Sounds
That's-
fantastic.
that's
We're
right.
playing for an hour,
allowed
so
to
we'll need
feed
it.
the animals.
All right, so with where you're at right now, even with sound stuff, with record things, what do we expect moving steadily ahead?
Nice. I am in the process of finishing our third record,
Okay.
writing wise. I'm gonna say 70% done. So it takes me a while. I over edit.
Yeah.
That's what I do. So that's the big thing is we're hoping to record our third record this winter. And then hopefully it's out next year. We try to have a quick turnaround upon completion of the record and then getting it out as fast as we can, just so.
So if you're listening to this show on Spotify, as soon as you get done, because I want you to finish the show, and then you go over and look up
Steady ahead.
and then you want to follow
Yep.
and make sure that that way you guys will know and listen. Because
Yeah.
how important are listens out there? Can you tell, when you
Yeah,
said how many people listen, or we're talking about where they listen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the one dude in New Zealand.
Yeah, shout out. We have
Love him.
yeah, we have on
He's a
our
great guy.
on our Spotify gives you an artist tab that you can
Yep.
you can download and use. And what helps more is playlists.
Yep.
So if you're so kind, listener,
Sure.
add us to a playlist, stream the music, give us a follow, all that stuff. Help us defeat the Spotify algorithm to get onto other playlists and to help grow the brand and the band and everything. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you were talking about something that I think is a lost art too. That said, when you put out a record, that somebody can listen to your album or record, whatever the kids call it these days, from start to finish. Because I'll listen to a song on the radio, and I know what follows it on an album. But I think that that's kind of a lost art these days because
That's
people
a little bit, yeah.
make playlists.
Yeah,
so-
I mean, I know at least myself. I usually still listen into the full, full record as it comes out, and then, so I usually don't mess too much with playlists. But yeah, especially now, I mean, that's how my wife listens to most stuff nowadays. It's like how most people I talk to listen. They just have a
Sure.
playlist going, and it's like, well, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And the Spotify algorithm, when it comes through, when you listen to a certain artist, it'll just pop on songs. Says, I don't want to listen to the next artist, but that's how they get picked, is by what people generally listen to, right?
Yeah.
Just like anything, like an ad popping
yeah,
up
absolutely.
on
Like
Facebook
they
or
like to
Instagram.
like usually like like cater it towards usually your own preferences based off what you're listening to, and then whoever's going to listen to the most will start popping that out more. So it's all about just getting more listens on that. That way our stuff starts showing up in more places.
Right. So people can help you guys by going on Spotify, listening to check you guys out.
Yeah.
But follow it, share it with friends, put it in a playlist. So those are the kinds of things that
Yes.
can help out.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The goal is when someone presses the smart shuffle feature that we're one of the songs that pops up.
Yeah.
That's what I want. When Joe Schmo, who's a Smashing Pumpkins fan, presses smart shuffle on his liked playlist, will pop up. That'd be awesome. That's the dream.
And I can tell you that I have artists that I listen to on Spotify that I've listened to, and a song will pop up next that I never in a million years would have listened to that artist at all.
Yeah.
And now are some of my favorite people that I listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
It's
that's
just like,
that's-
where'd this
that's
guy
the goal.
come from?
Yeah.
Right. So what does it take to get to the next level of things to so-called air quotes like make it as a band?
That is so loaded.
Yeah, I mean,
know.
it definitely depends on what your idea of making it is. You know,
What is your idea?
I mean,
of
for me, it's
making
just
it?
having a great time and usually just actually having to a point where the band itself is just self-sufficient, so that way
Yeah.
we're not investing our own money into it. We're getting, money coming in that's at least able to take care of all the band activities.
Right.
So usually that means, at least for me, is, we got to get more, get out to more people, get out to more shows. Probably, TJ's going to working on getting us
I was
city
going to
shows
say,
and stuff like that.
playing in
so-
the city, I think, is definitely a cool next step. And
Yeah.
playing more in the city, I think. Have you guys ever played in the city?
Yeah,
we
we played Reggie's like years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think
not under Steadyahead brand.
Yeah.
playing more in the city and consistently more in the city. And still, obviously, we could still play locally, too. And,
Exactly, yeah.
and just keep it a good mixed bag, a healthy mixed bag, so to speak.
Growing the band would be playing real shows, like more real shows instead of playing like bars and
Like
stuff.
Grayslake Summerfest.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Like Grayslake Summerfest is great. Or we could hopefully one day we'll play at the Metro, open up for some band, or we'll Cobra Lounge, Beat Kitchen, all that stuff those are all on the things to do list.
Right.
It's just about getting those things done.
So how do you get there? Do you need a manager? Do you need like just an in, or do you need like a promoter listen and say, "Holy shit,
Some
these guys
sort
are
of
great"?
Popularity a little
Yeah,
bit. You
yeah.
need
I
to
think
have
we
some
need
sort
just
of
more-
proof
Yeah, because
that people listen to you and that people are going to want to come out and listen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
A
then
bigger
make-
following would be the biggest one.
Yeah.
Most promoters nowadays are looking for a way for them to make money, which they should be.
What's your draw?
They should they should be. I
Right.
want to stress that they are a business and they should be making money.
Right.
So they don't want to take chances on guys that have 280 likes on Facebook.
Right.
Like no one uses it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Um,
But you have to stay in front of people. And,
Yeah.
and speaking of social media things, like is it the same name on?
Yeah.
And what platforms are you on?
We
so
are
people
on
can go give you a like.
We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and then we're also, like I said, we're on Spotify. We're on Twitter. It's too much work.
I still don't tweet or twat or whatever.
Yeah,
Or X.
Or X,
Yeah,
whatever
I
the
don't
case
X
is.
or anything.
Yes.
And then,
X now.
Yeah, I mean, then our music is also on more platforms, not just Spotify. We do have we're on Apple Music, YouTube
Yeah.
Music. If you want to
YouTube.
do that to yourself.
And if the thing you could do as well, if you we're on most social media stuff. If you want to make a snap or whatever, like a Snapchat, you can actually press that little music tab and type in our band name, and you can actually clip songs of ours and put it on
See,
there.
now that's a good way to do
So
it.
we have that. I intentionally did that stuff for promotion. So when we're playing
Sure.
when we're playing Grayslake Summerfest in a couple weeks, I'm gonna take a picture on the stage where we're standing, and I'm gonna post it on my story, and I'm gonna put clips of our songs in there. That's just part of it. But yeah, you
Right.
can do that too. We're on there. We're
Yeah.
also, I'm pretty sure I pay for it to be on TikTok too. I'm not entirely sure.
Sure.
We've never checked because we don't tick nor talk.
Yeah.
Right?
That's how
Hey,
you know you're getting old, man. If you don't download the new app. That's
You're like, oh, you look at it, you're like, oh, that seems like a lot of
I
work.
was like, that's too much work, man. It came out a couple years ago, and I was like, I'm out. I don't need that.
and to do what you guys are doing and trying to promote your music while you're making your music and trying to get shows and trying to get listens and everything else, to actually do the promotion part on social channels that's a full-time job in itself.
It is.
yeah.
And I've fallen super behind on it. I used to be our social media guy, and I'm bad at it. That's the
Yeah,
goal.
I
Is
mean-
to maybe get someone to do it for us.
Yeah, the
one
big thing
day.
is like none of us I think are really all that good at the social media thing anyway.
Right.
Because because it's just you look at any of ours, it's either us posting band stuff or memes for most of the parts.
Well, we need one of your fans to step forward and do it
Yeah.
for free for you guys.
We're trying to
until you
convince
start.
trying to convince my wife and his fiance to kind of get on it. So we
yeah,
might
that
be doing
that would be that'd be cool because then it's way easier.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
As long as they think what's cool is what you think is cool.
Oh yeah.
Because
yeah.
that's the most
Yeah.
important part.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will.
Okay, so what do you guys do to day job wise, just to know a little bit more about you guys?
I'm an electrician.
All right.
I'm a land surveyor.
I am a plumbing and HVAC apprentice.
Nice.
And then I am also an electrician.
Wow. So we like the tradesmen.
The trade.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's
New band
great,
name.
though.
The Tradesmen.
Next goal
trades-
is
tradesmen.
when we're in our 40s and we're out on grunge, we start doing like old man country. We change it to the tradesmen.
See, and when I asked about plans for the future,
There it is.
there's
Exactly.
You just got it.
the tradesman.
Oh.
Okay, so with the somebody had written down so you get $1,000 for this.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do with $1,000? Does that go for equipment? What are you going to use it for?
We're pretty sure we're gonna do in-ear monitors.
Okay.
Because our live show is really important to us. That's the whole feel of the band is huge guitars, huge snare hits, and big fat chunky bass. And we found that when we're gonna have in ears, we're gonna be able to hear ourselves better, change our levels a little bit easier. We've talked a little bit. You've done live stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes the floor monitor is just not good enough for you. Sometimes you need to hear your own voice. Sometimes I can't hear that stuff, especially playing live for 13 years at this point.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure some of the hearing is a little gone.
Yeah.
So that's the big goal is I think we're going to do in-ears just to help tighten up, especially in the practice space too, so we can all hear each other, what we're doing, fine-tune the live show. We want to be the tightest, most fun live band. That's a huge goal of ours.
Yeah.
It's just
Absolutely.
a fun, good live show. That's what we really strive for.
So speaking of the live show, so on August 16th at 7 p.m. at Summerfest, Grayslake
We've
Summerfest.
decided Summerfest.
We're just calling whatever the hell we want to. There's an event in Grayslake where a band is playing and there's beer being served on August 16th.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what we'll call it.
Yep.
What can the crowd expect? Do they expect, is it going to be all originals? Are you guys going to do some cover stuff? What to expect?
Expect about 70% originals, and then we'll throw in some cover songs that we've rewritten. So I don't like to play like note for note. Like,
Right.
I'm not gonna. Spoiler alert! I'm not playing a Nirvana song because we already sound like Nirvana. We don't need to play a Nirvana song.
Right.
Oh, we don't need to play a Weezer song or anything like that. So we're gonna take songs that are maybe '90s hits, but
Grungify.
grungify
Yeah.
them.
Make it
Crunchify.
ours so that way
Yeah.
it's something familiar, but still you get the vibe of kind of who we are.
Yeah, like I said earlier, we did that with Santeria. I grew up on my dad was a big Sublime fan in the '90s, and I grew up listening to Sublime when I was a kid. So we grungified Santeria, and then we grungified Closing Time.
Nice.
So we did those two were our big covers that we did, and we're doing a few more in the same vein, just like songs you never thought you'd hear through a grunge lens that we're gonna down tune our guitars and make
Right.
them loud.
Yeah, because it has to be like an art of that when you go out and you're somebody that maybe people don't know your song, so you have to draw them in a little bit. Like you said, when you're playing a song and you see somebody turn around and they start coming back to listen, because I don't think people aren't as open-minded as if they don't know the song. Sometimes they walk away.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
Well, it's absolutely. Or they just zone out. They're not really paying attention. They start chanting amongst themselves.
And their time is really valuable too. So
Exactly.
we want to capture people's time without feeling that they're wasting it.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's really important to us.
Right. Any other shows that you have booked right now? That
We're playing in Winthrop Harbor at the Starlight Skate Park on the 24th. So a week after
Wow.
Summerfest, we're playing there. It should be really fun. I think it's $5 to come see us play.
And at a skate park.
Yeah,
too.
and,
Yeah.
it's actually it's
That's
so
cool.
cool. I want to do a little aside.
Yeah.
It's so sick what they do. The stage in air quotes
Yeah.
is a half pipe. It's awesome.
You guys, you
Yeah,
better
so
be doing a lot of video there. 'Cause
Yeah,
that could
it's
be
gonna
really
be cool.
cool.
We actually
Yeah,
we're getting
true.
it shot. We're
Yeah.
we're having a guy shoot us there. There's that with
Nice.
with like a camera and everything like that. So we're doing
great.
that. It's gonna be awesome. I don't know if we're gonna use it for any kind of like music video thing. We might, but
It'd be cool.
but for now he's gonna shoot it and we're gonna do a bunch of pictures and it's gonna be awesome. It's
Yeah.
$5 and $10 if you skate. I think it's a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all indoor too, which is really cool. So like, I mean, last time we played there was again guys skating while we were also playing. It's a bit of controlled chaos, but it's a really good time.
It's real life Tony Hawk pro skater.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You got the music in the background, and you're just going around skating.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's really cool. I shoot a lot of video. I think we should collaborate. I've never actually done a
Yes.
full music video, but that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to wait until you guys are the tradesmen. You can have the tradesmen shoot.
Yeah.
Steady
One day.
Ahead. Right, exactly.
I mean,
No,
you
but that
guys can
sounds a lot
still
of fun.
skate, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't still skate.
I can a little.
I never learned. I went on. I'm like, oh, can't do it. I got the coordination for this, and
I can
I
skate
used to
bad.
love skating.
Skate, right, you can skate bad. I
Yeah,
mean, you can
I
do
can
it.
do half an ollie maybe.
No, I think I could still kickflip.
I mean, the best thing I can do is make fun of people who fall. That's about all I got.
They'll probably be making fun of me when I
It's a
fall.
skill
the
that we all
music
have.
video.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's
There
all
it
it's
is.
all good in there.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that everybody they come out. Congratulations to you guys on the we call it a victory at the
Yeah, we
battle.
call
Yeah.
it victory.
Yeah.
It was,
Oh, yeah.
it was
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you.
So yeah, you get to play somewhere else. You get some cash to hopefully get your monitors.
Mm-hmm.
That would
Oh,
be
yeah.
awesome. So what else does Grayslake need to know about you guys? Because I know that we haven't covered a lot of the other things. I love that we got to talk about the Oasis. I'd love to hear your story about over COVID, how that
Yeah.
changes things and how you do things. We've told people how they listen and make sure that everybody listening right now needs to go on and on Spotify it's follow, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
follow.
it's follow.
Yeah, be a monthly listener. That's what I need.
A monthly listener and add it to a playlist
Yes,
of yours.
that's what we need. It would be very very greatly.
Is Spotify the best way from Apple Music and YouTube Music? Is that how it really gets out?
For me, I've noticed that a lot of the general population uses Spotify.
Okay.
Some people use YouTube Music, and then some people use Apple Music.
I'm the Apple Music one.
Yeah,
The only one.
But almost everyone that I know in my personal life are Spotify users. That's why I always say Spotify. 'Cause
Right.
it seems like the big platform right now, and that's the one we push the hardest. Is when we play live. My whole line is help me defeat the Spotify algorithm. Give us a like. on
famous
Spotify.
quote.
Yeah, give us a follow
Yeah.
on Spotify, please. That's what I say.
That's awesome. They come out with the things at the end of the year and shows you who you're the top with
Yeah.
and all these things. When we first started the podcast for the first year, it was funny to see that I knew how many people didn't listen to podcasts before because I got my thing at the end of the year and they said I was number one with 164 people.
Yeah.
Nice.
And right, eyes wide open.
That's-
You know what? At first, I was like, "Oh man, I'm pretty badass," and then and then I realized that 164 people don't listen to fucking Spotify at all. And I was like, "Oh, this is their first time."
Yeah.
So, and that's the only thing that they have on there. So, but it is cool how they give you that, how many down or
Yeah.
how many
Oh,
people
yeah.
listen and how it goes up and down. But
Yeah, it definitely helps because it lets us know what our most popular songs are. So when we are putting together a set list, we just usually go with that.
that's fun. So, do I dare ask how many listens right now?
When I did our end of the year last year, everything's under 1,000.
Right.
But we had 500 streams on the new record, and that was awesome.
That's great.
That's-
That's 500 people.
That's
listening.
Exactly.
awesome. That's
Right.
awesome. I'm grateful. I did a whole post about it. I'm so grateful for every single person that checked it out. And
Yeah.
it's because it's pretty good. I think I like it.
I think it's great.
Yeah, it's good. I
So you
worked
guys-
really hard on it.
So now you guys we have to see what the power of Grayslake has to do
Yeah.
after this episode drops and after you're showing Grayslake that hopefully
Yeah.
you guys can report back and let me know
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
grows.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Supporting local businesses, supporting local music, I think it is so hard because there's not many jobs that are out there that you have all of this passion that goes into besides things, especially in the arts. Like this is your own work that people get to listen to. So
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
all listeners would like pay respect, do your due diligence and listen and support local music because I think it's a huge thing.
Yeah, and it's awesome too. It's just fun.
And I love that you guys are having fun.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's
That's
the
the
whole
number
thing.
one.
I've said for a long time that I am just this is a hobby,
Right.
and we'll see where it goes. And
Sure.
I'm thankful, and I'm gonna be lame to you guys, but I'm thankful that every week I get to hang out with my three best friends and piss off my neighbors.
Yeah, exactly.
Two of my favorite things.
It's awesome.
Yeah, if it wasn't fun, we all wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
You know.
it's great.
Yeah, because I'm sure bands, for the most part, like, you get to do what you love right now, but after a while, after you put your heart, sweat, soul into something, if you don't see the return on people listening or getting shows, it probably is an easy thing to be like, oh, fuck, what are we doing this for?
We
Yeah,
never
give up on
we never did that.
Yeah.
we our first record had like 100 streams, and we were like,
Yeah.
okay, the next one's got to be better.
Hey, it was 100 more than your first one.
Exactly, exactly. We
Yeah.
were like, it's got to be better, and we've been thankful enough too that when we used to play Penny Road Pub before it got closed down, and we got paid to play there. Full disclosure,
Yeah.
we would get paid, and that funded the band for a long time. And now most of the band is funded by our merch sales,
Great.
relatively decently. Like the record's different. They get more expensive each time we do it because we want to make the record better each time we do it.
Right.
Which is totally fine. But the main day in and day out, like restocking merch, it pays for itself.
Yeah.
Or restocking, whatever. We need to get more amp cords, whatever. It all pays for it. The band pays for everything. It's cool.
Nice.
So we're at a decent spot, but obviously looking to get bigger.
Right. And you'll have merch sales at the...
Yes, we're gonna have plenty of merch.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
We've
I get to DJ there at Summerfest. So I need to get a shirt from
Yeah,
you guys.
come grab a
to
shirt.
promote.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna support the band.
We'll see about that.
Let's see. So anything else we want to mention before we close out? I just really appreciate you guys being here.
We
and sharing
appreciate
your
it.
stories.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for having us.
Well, just want to double down. Our 2 albums, 2 records, Moment and Aphasia, are out on every platform you listen to. On Spotify, Moment's the most recent one. I recommend checking out the first 2 songs because they're the best ones.
Nice. Yeah, and a shout out to thing we should mention too, that the people that actually put on this Battle of
Yes.
the Bands and
Oh,
everything,
absolutely.
Grayslake, from our stage sponsors, from The Vine, Mike Pruitt,
Yeah.
and Nano. These things don't happen without the community coming together and looking for something cool. And and I don't know whose idea that was to put all this together.
No,
No
idea,
idea.
but it's a great idea though.
Yeah.
It's a great
So,
idea because
yeah.
I know I've been there a couple, 2-3 years,
Yeah.
and it's growing every year, which is great. So shout out to all those people that make that happen. So these guys can come out and do their thing, and all the other bands too.
Oh,
And-
absolutely.
Yeah, all the other bands were
Absolutely.
awesome too.
Yeah.
They were great. We can't stress enough how awesome it was to see a bunch of other local musicians playing a lot of original music that was all really cool.
In front of a massively growing event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This year was the biggest it was,
Yeah.
is what they
Yeah.
were saying. So
Yep.
just to see how, Grayslake is creating another opportunity for, local musicians and, just everybody in the community to get together, have a good time, and just be around each other. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
Amen.
absolutely.
Community.
Yep.
That's a big thing.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. Well, we'll close out that. We're going to see everybody on August 16th.
Yep.
And once again, I don't sound like a broken record, but Steady Ahead. Get on Spotify. Follow it. Add it to a playlist. And support local music.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Please
you.
and thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
thank you.
All right, Grayslake, thank you again for listening. No matter where you're at, I'm going to tell you to follow Discovering Grayslake, whatever platform you're on. It's awesome because it will notify you every time a new show comes out, which is every Tuesday. And I do recommend everybody in town, you listen to people that you don't know, because it's so fun to know people in our community, because we are about building community, and the more we know about it, it helps. And also, you never know what your friends are going through, what these guys in front of me are going through. So be kind. Challenge everybody to get out there and do one random act of kindness, or actually 2, or send a buddy a text that maybe he's feeling down or anything, just to say hello. So it helps everybody out. So Grayslake, thank you again for listening. Gentlemen, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Grayslake, we'll see you next Tuesday.